Hey everybody, welcome to episode 3 of Two Peas in a Podcast. We're going to do that forever now. We're used to that.
Every time you're going to get used to that.
Fionna and Cake ended, so we're talking about that. Season 1 of Fionna and Cake. Get ready. Buckle your shoes.
The sapling's going to love this.
Yo. See you there.
We're in an underground bunker about to record this next podcast for y'all.
I'm so freaking excited for this right now.
We still did an intro.
Yeah, I know. 2 intros today, guys.
2 intros, guys.
Nuclear fallout, we're in a shelter. Getting ready for the Mushroom War. Adventure time will now become real.
Mushroom War, Lich, big things happening.
Everything will happen. The last 2 episodes of the first season, supposedly, of Fionna and Cake, done plopped up all up in our cartridges.
Yeah. And then we had to clean it out with isopropyl alcohol because it plopped really good inside the cartridges.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. Dude, I'm still so tired. Please forgive me, dearest listeners.
I'm a little mad right now, but I think I can forgive you.
Don't worry though, I have coffee, so.
Yeah,
dude.
In a little bit, we're gonna be bouncing off the walls.
Last week we were so high energy, and I loved it. And then right now I'm like, what? Where am I?
The sapling's gotta take us as we are.
Yeah, like that Nirvana song.
Yeah.
You guys like Nirvana?
I like Adventure Time.
Dude, let's talk about that. On today's episode of Good Mythical Morning. I was trying to come up with an Adventure Time pun and it didn't work. See, guys, I'm really tired. Anywho, what'd you think, bro? There was Casper and Nova, and then I don't know what the last episode was called. Cheers, right?
Cheers. Yep. So right off the bat, the first thing that I noticed is that Casper and Nova look like Animal Crossing villagers.
They do. I didn't think of that.
And I really like that. I like how it looks like almost like a Nintendo sort of like video game, because BMO kind of looks like a Nintendo console to me.
They did look like advanced, like Guardians of the Sunshine style too.
Yeah.
Like more intense graphics of that.
Oh yeah. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
The books with the gun, like the
gun
handle came back too. Those are pretty sick. And yeah, so there was that, just like right off the bat. I think it's cool how once they do come back into the overworld, the like cake becomes like overalls on top of Fionna, and that's like the equivalent of the cake suit.
Yeah,
it's the cake overall, the Jake suit, cake overalls. I think that's awesome.
Cake overalls.
Yeah.
So in Casper and Nova, that's when we first see. Man, I thought we'd be talking about this much later for some reason, but we saw the Lich and Golb interact, right? That's that episode, or is that the next one? Or is that Cheers?
I believe so, right? Because they're... Yeah. So he is talking. So at the very end of the last one, the portal is opened for Simon, and then the Lich just crawls in too, because he's like... Arr?
Yeah. At first when I watched it, I was like, damn, they did Lich dirty, because like he just got like toasted. But I think that like it made me okay. So if the Lich was a human, right, I could never feel bad for the Lich, because like if a human had any of those wants and desires, it'd be like, clearly you're irredeemable and a monster.
Yeah.
But the Lich is not a person. Like, the Lich is not human. The Lich was created with the expectation of destroying all life.
Yeah.
So it's everything that it has ever known. So like I kind of, it sounds weird, but felt bad for the Lich. Like, because...
Which is a very interesting emotion.
Yeah.
He's just, like, pure evil.
Yeah, he was essentially looking in the face of his god, and he asked, like, what more can I do? Like, I achieved everything I was told to do. What more can I do? And then he just got, like, turned into a cube. It's like, poor guy.
It's like, as of right now, it's like a soul was bookmarked, because Golb is like, in every universe, you're kind of, like, just useless right now.
Yeah, like, I can't really use... It was just, like... Imagine, like, being told you have a specific, like, thing that you have to do in your like infinite lifetime, you achieve that, and you're like, what now? And then they're like, bye. Like his last couple sentient seconds, unless you're still like alive as the cube, he was like looking at, like I said, essentially his god, and they didn't say anything to him. Golb didn't. He was like, what do you want from me? And Golbetti just stared back, and like, I don't know, I was just kind of like, man,
Yeah.
like, it's kind of sad to just it kind of paralleled the feeling of powerlessness that Simon was feeling, I think. Whereas like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with my life without Betty.
Yeah.
And the Lich didn't know what to do with his quote-unquote life without like the purpose of destroying all life. Also, every time the Lich talks, that shit goes so hard, dude. Like everything he says,
it's so like in the main series where he's like, surely this is the end of all things.
I also like what is I was quoting it last episode. Oh no! When he's talking through Sweet Pea, and he's like, "In the beginning, there was nothing." It's like, oh,
and before nothing, there were monsters.
Dude, it's so cool.
He is like, he's like up there with like Darth Vader for me. For just like the coolest like bad dude.
Yeah, he speaks like a poem.
It's like very cool.
Oh man, dude, what did he say in Oh, he was like, my only goal was to create mountains of bodies in your name, and this I achieved. I was like, oh my god.
So that's kind of weird, because it's like, why is it in like Golb's name? Like, is he like
calls himself,
is he essentially like population control?
Yeah, I don't know. He calls himself the last scholar of Golb, in Gold Star. So I don't know. It's I don't think that Golb ever talks to anybody other than when Golbetti is communicating with Simon in his head. So like, was it just beamed into the Lich's like existence, like, you know what you have to do? Because I can imagine Golb being like, hey yo bro, listen. Like, maybe it was a misunderstanding, like Lich was just born. Also, yeah, let's talk that does lead into one of my theories that we can get into a little bit later after the Simon and Betty flashbacks. Were, I guess they weren't flashbacks, the fake ones. But yeah, what's next, dude?
I find it very interesting that like the arrival of the Green Comet coincides with the detonation of an atomic bomb.
Yeah,
it's kind of just saying that like event was just pure like malice, like just a disregard for other human life, and it's almost like this like survival like instinct where like when humans do go to war, they're just like, I'm not fighting humans, like I just have to survive.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think that when we are at war, like that becomes just part of like the mentality. It's like, it's me or them. And that is like deeply sad, but it's also like if we ever have another world war, like that very well could be like the situation again.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think that that's just like so deeply accepted as like what it is. It's like, that's just like war in general, and it's kind of sad, but I do like how it is saying like the innocent never deserve to die. And
it's hard to pinpoint
pure, like evil.
Yeah, like in a lot of cases there is like a definitive evil, but in terms of like some like just soldiers, it's hard to say like this person is evil and not evil. Like how is, you know what I'm saying? Like
is a soldier innocent?
Yeah, because like they're fighting in a lot of cases for a terrible cause, but like they hold some responsibility, but also like sometimes people are forced into the military. But yeah, that's
that's like that's hard. It's hard to like wrap your brain around that, but
yeah, I think
like I think that there's a reason why there isn't a focus on
the Mushroom War,
like the war, just because like,
well, yeah, I think that it's like a cool message with the Lich too, because it's like the Lich is the embodiment of evil, but like he's not the reason the humans went to war. He's the reason the war ended.
Yeah,
but he's not the reason it started.
Like, and that's not to say that like the people that like were in the war were evil. It was just like they were pushed to a point where they did evil acts,
Mm.
and that like was the arrival of the Lich.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we don't know why the Mushroom War started because they intentionally don't say. But I was just thinking just now, do you think Simon finding the Enchiridion sparked something? Because people are like, wait, there's magic? We got to fight over who gets to use it.
Probably. I mean, there's a picture
Yeah, and the
of him like
that he scribbled all over
yeah,
in Marshaline's words.
like I think that was probably like a very important act. Right now, I'm thinking that because the elementals were like trying to hide themselves.
Yeah.
So maybe it was a war between magical beings and humans.
Yeah.
And humans set off an atomic bomb on like maybe a
You got to
city
fight back, yeah.
filled with magical beings.
Yeah, Patient Saint Pym was like, things are about to turn.
That's crazy. I've never thought about that before, but it probably
He
was
doesn't really
between,
seem
magic users and humans.
He doesn't really seem remorseful, Simon. So I don't know. I think like maybe it had a hand in it, but like it obviously wasn't directly connected to him because I feel like he had to, like, if he caused the death of essentially humanity as how he knew it, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't just be like, Betty.
I mean, I think that he was probably going psycho crazy at that point.
Yeah,
like,
maybe
with
he
the
didn't
crown.
remember.
So maybe that's blocked out in his memory.
True, because they never explained in Stakes I can't think of her name. Oh man, I'm failing myself here. The vamp with the jewel who controls people's minds. That goes to the Ice Kingdom. She talks to Ice King and refers to him as Simon and is like, man, you really lost it, Simon. So sometime in between when he left Marceline and before he fully became Ice King, he worked with her. But he doesn't, I don't know. It's like, I don't know how much of that he can really remember. Like, even now that he's fully back to being Simon.
Maybe he wasn't, like, involved in the war. Like, he didn't become, like, a soldier, but he would just, like...
Act inadvertently,
was in the city or around the city.
Yeah.
When the bomb went off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, like, a common theme with Adventure Time is, like, it's never too late to change. And, like, you should be accepting of other people and, like, their journey, but it's also, like... In the case of, like, the Lich, it's, like, some people are filled with, like, a lot of, like, malice. And sometimes it's okay to kind of, like, distance yourself from people if they're going down, like, a really different track or, like, you just feel like you're so, like, disconnected from who they are.
Yeah.
It's, like, there are, like, some people that you can't, like, save or help. And you just kind of have to, like...
Yeah, they have to make that decision themselves. Yeah, yeah, Adventure Time's all about change, and what was that was kind of what Casper and Nova was about. Obviously, it was mimicking the story of Betty and Simon.
Oh yeah.
But like, I do kind of want to get into the Betty and Simon story because I've seen some people analyzing it on TikTok and Instagram, and like, I don't want to be like, you're interpreting art wrong, but I feel like sometimes people like view it in a like really toxic way. Like I saw people saying like, they were blaming Simon for things not working out, and they even say in Casper and Nova like it's not necessarily Casper's fault that Nova was obsessed with him, and that was supposed to be like Simon and Betty is like it's not Simon's fault necessarily, but it was something that he should have like paid attention to. And another thing that I saw was people saying like Simon and Betty like deserved to end up together, and I think that was the entire point of the series is like sometimes it's too late. Like you have to live with what happened, whether it's your fault or not. Like becoming Ice King and becoming Golbetti is like that's not something that they can just get past.
Yeah, I mean, like as Ice King, Simon is just sort of like a sad shell of what he was, and Betty traveled into the future to try and save Simon, but couldn't really do that without, like, essentially sacrificing who she is to be...
Simon was her crown. That was the thing that drove her to magical insanity.
Yeah, like, keeping her alive and then just, like, obsessed with trying to have what they had, but I think that after a while, like, she fought so hard and for so long, and like with just to no avail, and she reached a point where she was like, I think it's too late for us to really have what we had. Like, even if like things worked out perfectly, I think it would still be like
Very different.
like her realizing over like the whole time that like they always did what like Simon wanted to do, and like she gave up everything for him, and like looking back, I think that she realized she would have wanted more like from him, but it's also like she only realized that once she was gold, like, and she had perspective and she could like view her whole life from a non-human perspective.
Yeah, she was very gentle with how she informed Simon too, which
Yeah.
I kind of think it's cool. The Casper and Nova book. We were talking about this. You actually brought this up to me, so I'm stealing your idea.
That's okay.
You brought up that like it's kind of like a paradox because like Simon inspired the writing of Casper and Nova, and then Casper and Nova, like when he went to the future, made him go back and tell the story. So it's like he wrote it and was inspired by it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean it's like a cycle. But yeah, it's deeply sad that it's like a point where both of them just sort of fell out of love because they didn't see each other for like, I don't know, like 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Like, well, Betty saw him, but it was just, it wasn't him.
It was a weird thing because Simon like wasn't, for him it's hard to say how much time it was because he remembers being Ice King just like very like vaguely, like he says it was like a dream. In the episode where they actually pull Betty to the future, Finn and Jake ask like, do you remember us? And he's like, I remember the bruises. So it's like, it's weird to know, like, I don't know what he remembers from that like 1,000-year period of essentially torture. Man, this show's kind of sad.
I'm actually feeling not so great thinking about that right now.
Guys, we're gonna stop doing the podcast. Dude, do you want to bring... I know you were hyped about that.
Oh, so I love Shermie and Beth.
Woo, woo, woo!
I
Shermie
love,
and
like,
Beth, woo, woo, woo!
Both of their voices, designs, and just like everything about them. I was so... In my notes, I put Shermie and Beth in all capitals, and it took up 2 lines because I love Shermie and Beth, and I was so hyped to see them.
At first I was like, wait a minute, Beth sounds different. It doesn't sound like Willow Smith. But then I kind of don't care. So it's fine.
I didn't even notice.
Shermie was the same, and Shermie has such an iconic voice. Isn't that Jeff from Clarence voicing Shermie?
I'm really bad with voice actors.
But his voice is iconic.
That.
Beth was kind of like just like a regular, like, you know, like that's just somebody's voice. Which I guess Shermie's voice is too, but it's like an iconic voice where like when I hear it, I'm like, oh.
Yeah,
like that's Shermie.
I want to see more of Fionna and Cake, but I also want a Shermie and Beth spinoff.
Dude, I want everything. Like, make
cool.
like a million shows. Like, I know, like, poor Adam Muto. I'm like, dude, can you make 12 series currently? Like, please.
The next, like, Khan, who's just gonna be like, he's gonna use, like,
everybody
10
can make
bottles of water.
Can you please make a Finn the Human show and a Marceline and Bubblegum show? And can you also
Can you make my fan fiction?
He's like, we just did that.
We're done with that.
We're done with that. He's a legend though. I love everybody who like I see worked on Adventure Time and just in general, like they always talk and I'm like, dude, you're so cool. Like Rebecca Sugar's a legend. Like obviously Pendleton Ward is a legend.
They're just like, I don't know, just so unapologetically creative.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing hindering like them from just creating, and it's really cool.
They seem
like, it's very, very unique.
They reach like a weird like point where they're simultaneously like super wise, but also not like old person wise where you're like you don't even feel like a human anymore. Like they feel very human in their wisdom. Like it's like simultaneously like how do you know this? Like have you lived a million years? But also like they feel like timeless, you know?
Yeah. Also like just humble too.
Yeah.
Like,
dude, if I created Adventure Time, I would never shut up about it.
Yeah.
Like, I would go to everybody, they'd be like, hi, how are you? And I'd be like, excuse me, I created Adventure Time. Like, sir, can you please move out of the checkout lane?
It's funny, too, because I saw this interview with Pendleton Ward, and he was like, the way that he described it was so nonchalant. He was just like, I have like the best job ever. Like I get to go in a room and like make up jokes with like people about this story, and
Yeah.
we just kind of hope that the network approves it, and if they don't, just change stuff.
I saw Adam saying he was like Pendleton explained to him like don't just do like easy jokes. Make sure it makes sense with the characters in the story, and I love that too. It's like it's just everything's so smart.
That's really important. Like that, I could definitely see that like all the way through.
I think Shermie and Beth, to go back to since I derailed us, Shermie and Beth, like at first when I saw them in Come Along With Me, I was like, they didn't feel like characters to me yet. Like I just thought of them as like a continuation. Like it was just like, oh yeah, by the way,
Yeah,
reincarnation continues. But
like,
now they feel
was
like characters.
Somewhat like a little segment with them.
Yeah, but to fully see them be them made them feel a lot more.
It was cool.
Yeah.
Like
I never disliked them, but I was just kind of like, okay.
Yeah, like you just don't know anything about them.
Yeah,
Yet.
it's like when you see Shoko in the flashback, where Princess Bubblegum's building the candy cane. It's like the previous.
That's what her name is.
I think that's what it is. I might be wrong, but it's just kind of like it's like cool, but like I don't really care.
Yeah, it's cool to see another reincarnation of Finn, but it is like because and what we were talking about with the just Gold Betty,
Which, by the way, pat ourselves on the back, or not even ourselves, dude. You predicted it.
Predicted the name.
You were saying Gold Betty last episode, and then they said it, and I was like, oh, ah! And
maybe
my girlfriend was sitting next to me. Shouts out to Tally. And like I was like, oh, Dennis predicted that, and she was like, cool, like in the nicest way possible. She was like, that's really cool.
But I don't know. I kind of just said it as a joke, honestly. But
Yeah,
we
worked.
did it.
Let's go. We predicted the ending. I'm just kidding.
Future.
Oh my gosh, I have a theory for everything. Speaking of predicting the ending, I have a theory for like far down the line that I think. Let's just say connect some dots. But yeah.
You know a dot-to-dot picture? Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to do. You don't get it yet.
Yeah, I think that we also were kind of on, like, the money for what Gold does, like their job.
Yeah.
They manage reincarnation.
Yeah.
And
that's what...
yeah, like being eaten is, like, ending you forever. And then
being turned into a cube is you're being bookmarked, like you said.
Bookmarked, and then basically, like, other than that, like, Gold just kind of says, like, all right, I'm going to put you here now, because
like,
this
okay.
will give you purpose.
Yeah.
And it's cool. Like, and when Simon was beamed into Shermie's, like, body, at first I was like, so did Shermie just die?
Yeah, like...
Did he get bookmarked, or... But
is
when
this,
you
like,
saw
permanent?
The inside of the head, I was
yeah,
like, oh,
playing the
okay.
game. So, the theory that I had earlier that I said that I would wait for, it's about that time. It's about that time. I forgot what I was going to say. No. I saw somebody post about it on Instagram. No, it was on TikTok. And then I kind of just went off with it. When Gold Betty is in Simon's head explaining why everything didn't work out. When Betty gets on the bus and the thing on the bus flips, the destination flips, it's in some language that I don't know. But somebody smarter than me translated it, and it says comet. So, at the end, when Simon's floating away from Betty, we see Gulb's shape change. And when Simon wakes up, there's a butterfly on his face. So I think Gulb is in charge of creating comets, maybe, and Betty is now a new catalyst comet. And her reincarnation started as a butterfly, and it landed on Simon's face just to say, like, a final goodbye. But that's why it said comet, is because it was like, Betty is going to be the new comet. And that's why she was like, I have to leave now. I'm going to become the comet now. Like, it's just like, this is how I achieved my life goal of keeping you safe. I know you're not going to be Ice King anymore. When I put on the crown, my wish was to keep you safe. You're safe now. I've achieved my wish. Gulb's going to let me go. I'm the new comet. I really think that that's what that was.
That would be cool. I'm also wondering, like, is keeping Simon safe, quote unquote, like,
yeah, he can't
does
die.
He age?
Yeah,
now?
He has a gray hair, but that could be from stress.
That could be like, I don't know. That could just be like part of the process too, where it's like, I don't know, like, that's just a mark from the wish.
Yeah,
Maybe?
and like I mentioned last episode, Simon is not dead in Together Again. We do not see Simon in any of the Dead Worlds. So like he somehow outlives Finn and Jake. He outlives all of the characters that we see, which is pretty crazy considering like he's 47 in like the main series, I believe. So it's like he's got to. If Finn's like an old man, he's got to be like 150.
So we just like he's not there at all. Like
I don't think we see him at all. Like in, like he's either still alive or like he already chose to be reincarnated.
Yeah. Dang.
It's yeah, it's cool. There's just so many like everything you can theorize about because like you know that they thought about it too.
Yeah.
Like
it's all gonna connect eventually.
Yeah.
Or maybe not.
maybe it'll be one of those things where they're like, yeah, we thought about that, but we're not gonna put it in.
I feel like there's just like a small window of what we see.
Yeah.
And then like just everything.
That's what makes it feel so real.
Yeah.
Like
it feels like it's kind of like a CRT like television. It's like we're just like using the screen and then there's like 2 feet out the back that are like making it run. Like it's very cool how full-fledged everything is. Like I love that.
Hey everyone, we just wanted to take a quick break to thank today's sponsor,
Prismo's Artisan Pickles.
Make sure to go to your local store and
pick up some of Prismo's Artisan Pickles.
If you're a munchin', these pickles are a bunchin'.
Crunchin'.
Crunchin'.
Pickle.
Thanks.
Buy them.
Now back
You
to
should
regularly
eat them
scheduled
on a burger
podcast.
and hot dog.
You could put it in a bun alone and pretend it's a hot dog.
You could put it in a pickle, and then you could say that it's stuck in a pickle.
Be like, I turned myself. Is there anything else you wanted to say about Casper and Nova, or?
I guess there's still that. I think it's really cool. You were the one that told me about like how
Gibbon.
saw Gibbon.
Yeah,
he looked like very familiar to me, but I was like, where is he?
Gibbon is the son of Charlie.
Yeah. Which Beth has to be related to Charlie.
Oh,
right?
Beth is for sure a pup.
Yeah.
Like, definitely somewhere down the line of the Jake timeline. Which is crazy because pups did not exist before Jake and Lady Rainicorn. It was Rainicorns and dogs, and now there's a combination of the two, which is really cool.
That's cool.
Like, that, like, species being the dominant species in Oo now is, like, that's because of Jake and Rainicorn.
Wait. Is Jake also the last dog? Do we see another...
We see that dog in Fionna and Cake with the collar, but it's not the same dog. It's like, it's just a normal dog. It's not a magical dog like Joshua and Margaret.
Yeah, but like in Oo.
Yeah. Before the humans showed up. I don't think we ever see another dog besides...
Is there another dog?
I guess we don't know if Jermaine... No, he doesn't hook up with anybody.
Yeah. Okay, so there is Jermaine.
But he does eventually croak.
I've never thought about that before, but it's kind of cool how like in the very beginning, before we meet any other like characters, like Finn and Jake are
the last,
both the last of their kind,
more or less. Yeah.
But we just don't know yet.
Part of me kind of wishes that I do not want John DiMaggio to change his Jake voice at all. But like growing up, I was always like, I wish that like Jermaine had the Mid-Atlantic accent like Joshua and Margaret.
I love their voices.
Yeah, it's dude. So I love like that like old school Mid-Atlantic.
Dude, cover those nubs on your head.
I made this demon sword.
For you.
It's just such a like show tuney like style voice.
Like I imagine someone like kicking their legs. To the
yeah,
side and
that's
it's
why
like,
Jake came out to him like, "Hello, Daddy." "Hello, Mommy." It was destiny, dude.
Destiny, showbiz.
It's what it is. Oh, jeez.
But yeah, so Gibbon is obviously like kind of old.
Yeah,
using those crystals again.
Yeah, the one of his eyes is one of the crown. It was one of the gems from the Ice King crown. I assume the same gem that Ice Thing used to propose to Turtle Princess with, who we also saw Turtle Princess is dead because we saw her shell in the library.
It was like a cyborg sort of deal.
Yeah. So maybe Gibbon killed her and took the gem, and now he can live forever, and that's why he's alive 1,000 years in the future.
Oh, so you don't think that that's from like the Ice King's crown?
No, because remember, so Ice Thing, it falls out and he picks it up and it gets stuck to a bagel, and when he lifts it, Turtle Princess thinks it's a ring and he's proposing.
Oh, okay, so it is. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's the same one.
Two.
Yeah, there's two small ones and a big one.
Wow.
But I assume his wish would be to be immortal because he's alive 1,000 years in the future. And it seems like maybe he's a ruthless tyrant or dictator.
Wow. So can the crown still grant a wish even though it doesn't have all three of the gems?
I don't. Yeah, I don't know. It's. Yeah, I don't know. Would. It's weird because it was hurting Little Destiny when she had one gem, but somehow, uh, uh, Gibbon can utilize it in a way where it's helping him because both of them just had that
Yeah.
small gem,
Maybe it has to be like close
or he could revert it to his
the
primal.
head?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Or just, yeah.
Because she was wearing it like a necklace.
I don't know. Regardless, I'm very fascinated with like the crystals. I want to see like where they're from or what like they are.
Yeah, like
general.
how does that? How is something from one reality powerful enough to influence gold?
Yeah, I think that we were talking about like there was probably because we saw a bunch of other like beings that work under gold that were like going after Scarab, and it's interesting to think about because what if you know how like the lich's hand gets split off into a bunch of different realities when they try to kill him.
Yeah.
Like, what if a similar thing happened where, like, one of Golb's, like, workers kind of rebelled against him / just it,
Yeah.
and then it just, like, decimated them, but then, like, they didn't know that, like the crystals, the remnants of that being are scattered into every universe. And it's, like, maybe that would kind of be cool, because what if, like, their goal was to end, like, to freeze life, to hold on to everything? And like stop reincarnation or whatever, and that's why it always comes to like ice or whatever. But it is like fire when it's first seen with like Evergreen,
the fire monster thing. Yeah,
but
that would explain kind of why Lich says he's the last scholar of Golb. Maybe they've all kind of been taken out.
It's the same goal, like to stop reincarnation.
Yeah,
because he just sees it as like suffering.
Yeah,
like that is very interesting because it's in sort of Buddhist culture. Enlightenment is not reincarnation, it's breaking the cycle.
Yeah, the escape from the torture of reincarnation.
Yeah, and like it's interesting because it's like maybe the Lich's goal is to end all life because he wants like things to like cease. He doesn't want people to suffer.
Cease.
Fall.
He's so cool, dude.
Like, maybe that's something that like the dude, like there was a being that like used those crystals. And they also wanted that. They wanted to freeze everything in place so that no one would ever have to suffer again. But I don't know.
That's me snapping like it's poetry.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah, it was pretty poetic, if I do say so myself, even.
Well, cheers?
Cheers. Making your way in the world. We can't sing that.
We could.
Dude. I guess we're far enough in where we wouldn't get copyrighted. Making you way. Cheers was okay. Here comes my theory. I have a idea. When Scarab was going after, I always like want to explain the episodes just in case in case you didn't see it. But if you're watching this, you saw it. But Scarab is going after Fionna and Cake because they're an unauthorized universe, and he's tearing it apart. Gooba goo goo. And so basically I've had a theory for a while and I've always like I'm not gonna say it because it's stupid, but Prismo in Crossover talks about my boss is gonna flip out. He's like, my boss, let me repeat that, my boss. And then in Fionna and Cake he mentions his boss again, presumably the same boss that the sphere guy that Scarab like reports to works for, and it's this big mystery. Who could possibly be Prismo the Wishmaster's boss? When Scarab went into Fionna World and was tearing it apart, the tears in reality looked a lot like paper. So my theory is it also connects to let me just say my theory is Prismo's boss is the writers of the show. Because when he first sees Cake, he says, "You're off model," like animation model. And later down the line, when Fionna World gets confirmed, he says, "Now you're canonized." And the word canon is pretty much only used in fiction. Like, we don't refer to history as canon. We refer to it as history. So it feels like they understand we exist in a show. If my boss gets mad, the show is canceled.
Yeah, like if they can X stuff.
Yeah.
If they need to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why he like didn't want the fan fiction to be known, is because it was like, I'm doing something that could get the show canceled, and then we would all die.
Dude, that's dope. That's
Yeah,
super cool.
I'm sure that there's somebody who has said like a cooler version of that and a more thought out version of that, but that's just what
I mean,
I think.
Like, I was just watching it like, I don't know, like a kind of like an infant with like amnesia, because like I like just saw this stuff like the
okay,
stuff, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Like that's really cool, because it looks like it's being reduced down to its basic element.
Yeah,
because the lines sort of still exist.
Yeah,
it's being like ripped out of the page.
Tally said to me when it got torn, she was like, "That looks like paper," and then I was like, I was like, "Oh my god."
That's cool though. I think that's fair. And then Golb would be above like them.
Yeah,
right? Where they're like that's like the ultimate being, where it's like he like predicts everything.
Yeah, it's like they speak to the universe through Golb, kind of like which characters are going to be non canon, or and that's why they're able to like decide which character dies to Golb, is because it's like, we're done with this character, we don't need to worry about that anymore.
I like that, because why would he say my boss instead of Golb?
Yeah,
like originally I just always thought it was Golb, but I think that makes more sense.
But they intentionally like make it like, they intentionally do say like my boss, or like the boss is gonna be so mad, and it's like, I've always been like, who is Prismo's boss? Like, Prismo's powers can't interfere with Golb. Yeah, so like someone above Golb. Yeah, that's my TikTok clip of the day.
Prismo is like the team that they have to present storyboards to get them approved to get on.
He's like, yeah, for sure.
He's like, yeah, I'll put that in there. I think it's
he's just
very
a cool guy.
That's cool. I like that a lot, because I think that connects a lot of things, like that they wouldn't say who it was, like kind of. It's not a fourth wall break, but just
yeah, and that's why Prismo freaks out so much when there was the crossover event, and he got in crossover Finn and Jake to go handle Farmold Finn with the maid, is because he was like, dude, if the showrunners find out about this, like that a wish I made is messing with the canon of the show, then they're gonna be so mad.
No,
like
this reality is super messed up. This is not how the show is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I in like each different reality as a like spin-off of some sort, which is pretty fun idea, if I do say so myself. But yeah, that was my big reveal.
That's cool. I love that.
Really makes you think.
Tickles the old noggin. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to follow that up.
Yeah.
That's like,
I've been
reducing the show down to like its basic elements. That's cool.
I've been cooking that one up for years. I thought
cook.
I always thought like, oh, that'd be kind of cool. But then like when Fionna and Cake did that, I was like, guys, you might want to see this.
Yeah, I do agree how like when you were talking about how Betty, it looks like Golb is like glowing
at the
as Simon's running away. Also, the rocks that like Simon is stepping on, I tried to pause to see each of them. And there's this like one where like Jake's head fills up the entire background. So maybe in that like universe,
it's Jake world.
Everything's Jake.
Yo, like classic. Everything's Jake.
So that's kind of how I saw that one. But yeah,
then you'll never have to pay me back that $20.
$20.
What was his name?
I don't know. I can see him though.
Yeah,
he kind of looks like the way that Finn remembers Jake.
Yeah. You're all caught up with imaginary problems.
Sounds like Liam Neeson. You've known your family way longer than you've known us.
Liam Neeson.
No.
Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson.
From I was like, dude.
Liam Neeson. Owen
like Qui-Gon Jinn.
Sounds just like him, dude.
That'd be crazy.
Trust, bro.
Dude, that'd go hard.
Imagine if Liam Neeson was like the Lich. in
Dude.
live action, like the voice of the Lich.
That'd
or
be
something.
sick. I do really like Ron Perlman's Lich.
Yeah, nobody else could do what he does.
I
with
saw
it.
an interview with him where they asked, like, what was it like voicing the Lich in Adventure Time? Because he's one of the best fictional villains of all time. He dead serious was like, I have no memory of doing that. And he was dead serious. Like, he was like, I'm sure I did it, but I have no memory of it. And I was like, that's kind of creepy.
Is that like a joke?
He seemed serious. Like, he was like, I wish I could give you, because he asked, like, what was it like working with Adventure Time? And he's like, I wish I could give you an answer, but I honestly have no memory of doing it. But, like, he's come in, like, so, and even if it was like, oh, per season, he only records, like, 3 lines. But he's in season 4, season 5, season 7, season 9, season 10. He's in, Together Again, and he's in Fionna and Cake. So, like, there's no, like, that's kind of creepy that he doesn't remember it at all. Like, it's some, like, otherworldly Lich stuff that it, like, got wiped from his memory. Like,
It's
it's
such
like
a Harrison Ford response.
yeah, I know.
He's like, I don't know. Like, maybe he just like voiced the lines and sent them in. Or something.
He's just like, sure.
I don't know. That's funny. That almost sounds like a joke to me. Because how could he not remember?
I know. That's like a bunch of people are like, to be fair, he only has like 12 lines ever, and it's like,
If I was on Adventure Time,
I'd be like, dude,
I would
I'm the
not forget
coolest
my
villain of
lines.
all time, dude. Bro, how do you say a line like "I am the ceaseless wheel" and forget that? Like,
Scholar of Gold.
yeah.
Like,
Before there was nothing.
especially
There were
like the
monsters.
briefing going into like
Yeah, like,
the interview process. Like,
you're kind of the scariest motherfucker ever.
Oh yeah, I'm stupid. At the very end, I realized like what they were saying about like Fiona and Cake's reality, like being hidden inside of Simon's head. I thought that it was just like, I mean, it does exist separately beyond like the multiverse, but it's also like
It's crazy that you can hide a multiverse within a multiverse.
within someone's brain.
Yeah,
like,
who's in another multiverse.
that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's some sort of like link there that like is hidden,
Yeah.
but it's very, I don't know, I thought that was cool because like they're not like really finding a portal in their world, they're just finding a way out of Simon's head.
Yeah.
But the dreams exist in his head, but then it's like the live world exists in its own.
Yeah, because
right.
now they escaped.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
it's
Yeah.
I don't know how they come up with it, but it's cooler than anything I could come up with. Okay, I was a little bit how did you feel about the like final episode? Like, how did you feel about how Cheers ended?
I think, like you were saying, we did talk a little bit. Guys, don't be mad.
Guys, I'm
Do
so
not be mad.
sorry.
We talked a little. We were playing Gotham
Unfortunately,
Knights,
we are friends in
and
real life.
It was. We do talk to each other, but we talked a little bit because we were goosing.
I was like scratching and itching. I was
Yeah.
like, dude, come on.
like a cheetah caught in a cage, like riding around. So now we're here. But basically, I thought it was very like it's very heartwarming. I like the very very spoilers. The very like part where Fiona's like, just a normal day. So it's like insinuated that her wish was for her like world to be normal. And it's funny how like normal is like everything that's going on opposed to as like, I don't know, like what was happening.
Yeah.
But it's all relative like to Adventure Time. It's like normal is being a part of a multiverse.
Yeah, and
where
Scared warned
magic
him of that.
exists.
He was like, you now come with
Yeah.
all of the caveats of
Yeah.
existing in this reality.
Oh yeah.
Maybe we'll see their Lich.
Yeah. Well, something else. Oh my gosh. This is like going off on a tangent. But
No, you're good.
the Lich's hand exists in every world.
Yeah, we didn't see it.
Is the Lich being turned into a Tetramino? Like, or just like a...
I think he is a hive mind, technically.
Like, so is that like his original thing? Or did he like reform into like one thing? Or like, what is going on? Because his hand is in every world.
Right.
So is it just one Lich that got captured? Because that seemed a lot more significant than just a single world's Lich being captured. Like
I think it was just I think it was just the reason that one was so important was because that one was the only one who has achieved its goal. So that's why it was so like all of these others are essentially that old story where they're rolling the ball up the hill and it's just going to keep falling and they're just going to keep pushing because it's like
Wait a minute.
he is going to in all of the other realities attempt to do what that lich did, but when they inevitably achieve it, or not inevitably, but if they eventually achieve it, it's all for nothing.
Yeah, because
So-
it's just like the cycle will still continue.
Yeah, I think that's the big moment is like he does all that and it's for nothing because Golb could not care less.
I mean, it really is just like one person or one entity's form of worship.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's very just, I don't know, it's very insignificant in the grand scheme of things.
I'd love to see the primordial monsters. Like, obviously, they couldn't do a spin-off of this because it would just be, like, chaos. But Hunts and Abadir's a primordial monster, like the Lich as well. So I'd love to see just, like, what those are. I think Orgalorg might be one of them.
Yeah.
But I'd love to see, like, what was that like before the Big Bang? They were just Bjorking it up. Like, what was...
Yeah.
Like, who gave them their... Like, did they talk to each other? Like, and
like,
he says he's the last one.
choose to create lesser beings.
Yeah.
Alive.
Yeah. I mean, we never see any of them interact. We don't see Hunts and Abadir and the Lich interact. We don't see Hunts and Abadir and... We see Hunts and Abadir and Gunther interact.
Yeah.
And he says, you by far are the most evil... Or something like that, right? Dude, I didn't even catch that. Did he know he was Orgalorg?
Dude, that's funny. I feel like he did, because I've like lightly thought about that, where it's like, oh, like, did he know?
It's
that
just
he
a
was gonna
funny
turn
little...
into Orgalorg?
Dang, man.
That's funny. Also, the Gunter that is like Master Evergreens has Nina.
Yeah.
And like Ice King's Gunter finds like a cute little cat too.
Yeah.
Gunter always has like some sort of cat counterpart, and I thought that Nina is
Nina,
so
no.
cute. I love the part where like Dinosaur Gunter is petting Nina, and he's just like Nina. Like I love that part. That's so wholesome.
I know it's... Yeah, there's that wholesome moment, and I know it's messed up, but, like, I was thinking of the part when he's, like, mimicking how Evergreen is mean to him, and he just smacks Nina, and he's like, Nina, no! The way Nina falls to me, it's... You don't hate your pets, but the way Nina fell to me, it was just so abrupt that I felt so bad, but I laughed.
Demo blowing up.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
Like and that's a very significant part of that episode too. I was talking to you about this, guys, don't be mad. But we were talking about how Gunter always saw Evergreen, like he literally froze the other elementals because he's like, they're just gonna get in the way.
Yeah.
So like and that's ultimately the reason why the comet intercepted Earth, is because like Evergreen couldn't accept other people's health, and you see Gunter like learning that behavior because like Nina is like just trying to like, she just wants like love and affection, but then Gunter's like, Nina, no, and then like pushes her to the side so that he can figure out like the spatial awareness to put the jar into the thing.
Even before he like puts on the crown, he clearly still wants to be Evergreen, like because he just looks up to him so much.
That scene is so just sad.
Yeah.
Like
It's also...
specifically like the shot where like the beard is starting to grow and like the ice is kind of flowing,
and you
off
see
of
the
him.
green light. Yeah.
It's very like,
yeah. Yeah. Man, yeah.
something, I looked up a picture of Golb here, and all of these, like
the cubes around him.
tetraminos, quadrilaterals, pentagonal, cuboids,
Giant L's.
with all of these things, like, they're all green. And the Lich is always...
Oh, you
Lich
think that
always
those
has,
are...
like, an essence of green.
Yeah, those are alternate Liches who also achieved their goal?
I think that...
Oh, you think that maybe she was rewarding him? She was like, you completed your goal, and, like, somehow, like, when you get turned into a cosmic cube, you know?
She's not killing him, though.
Yeah, because if she could have just eaten him.
Like, maybe all of those are Liches.
Yeah, who achieved their goal.
There's a hand in every unit. Like,
yeah.
There's no way that, like, taking out one of them could end the Lich, because there's so many of them, right?
Yeah, and then, like, getting turned into that is, like, their version of eternal, like, pleasure.
But because he's almost like a servant to Gold, like, he accepted that he basically will never reach that end, or at least his original form did. And maybe that's what all those are, but maybe they're all just like the
and maybe he
primordial beings.
Maybe he knew he was supposed to be turned into one, and that's why he was like, "What more do I need to do? Like, why am I not a cube boy yet?"
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Back to the evergreen thing, though. We might have talked about this last episode. I don't know. But I really do think it's interesting how the ice elemental is always the elemental that wants to live, and the other elementals are just cool with dying. Because Evergreen wants to stop the comet, and Patient Saint Pym wants to freeze them so that they can live after the war. But all the others are always like, no, man, it's fine. Because Evergreen says, this is going to kill everybody. Not everybody but us. And I always thought that, like, that's interesting that the ice elemental is always like, man.
Yeah.
And she freezes herself again at the end of Elementals, so she'll be around in Shermian Best era.
Dude, that's interesting. Maybe Gulp hated, like, that being in my headcanon with, like, the crystals, because Gulp was, like, pissed off that they wanted all other life to cease except for themselves. Like, they want to live forever, but they want everything else to stop. And maybe they wanted that for the wrong reasons, and that's why Gulp wanted
Here, get closer while the thing's
exist.
going, because I don't know if they'll be able to hear you.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Guys?
But I don't know. Like, that's kind of the way that I see that. Like, I think that essentially the Lich is allowed to exist because
Yeah, Gold is okay with it.
their intentions aren't necessarily bad.
It's just what they exist to do. That's why I feel bad for, like,
Yeah.
it's not like I'm doing this because it's evil. It's like, this is my purpose.
It's not, yeah. The Lich isn't doing things just because they're evil. The Lich wants people to stop suffering. Like, maybe their original form as a human was just like, maybe it was Billy.
Does the Lich have any previous lives, or is it just always the Lich?
Maybe, I don't know. Like, maybe the Lich is always, like, a great hero in a world like Billy that reaches a point where they think, like, I don't know, like, I've tried so hard for so long to save people, but things always continue to cease and, like, to, like, decompose and just deconstruct regardless of my effort. And
I
it's
don't
like,
know,
maybe
'cause
that depression sort of kicks them into, like, I don't know, like, Golb offering them that, like, primordial being.
But the Lich came in the comet that killed the dinosaurs that Evergreen died to. I mean,
So maybe,
I don't know, but I've always thought of it as, like, the Lich is not really alive per se. It's just like a force.
yeah.
Like
they
how
don't
Finn is the
need
hero
anything.
comet. Like, the hero comet itself isn't alive. It just takes different. But that's why I was like, I don't know if the Lich is reborn the same way Finn is. I mean, how do you do that, right? Like, how is a character like the Lich born? Like, you come out the womb like, you know?
He's reincarnated. I mean, he basically has just always existed.
Yeah.
So
for the last 65 million years. Well, no, because he existed before the universe existed,
Like,
but he's just had a
reincarnation is
physical
just-
form
yeah.
in the last 65 million years.
Yeah. He's kind of like Voldemort.
Yo,
He's just like
don't
was
even say his name.
looking for a vessel. He's kind of like he who must be named.
He must be named.
He's got it. Me goosing to name Voldemort.
I saw a TikTok meme where they were like, everybody says that the Roman Empire connects all men, but the truth is, the thing that connects all men is the Lich. Like, every guy thinks about the Lich. I was like,
He's just cool.
yeah, I don't. Yeah, dude, I want to see.
He's got mind control. He can't die.
Yeah, dude, what is it about? Like, I want to see, like, a photorealistic version of him. I know I'd be like, ew, when I see, like, the rotting Billy face. But, like,
that has to exist.
I know, I want to see it.
Hold on.
Shouts
You
out.
guys are gonna get a live reaction.
Realistic Lich.
Hey Google, realistic Lich. Glitch.
Vanellope Von Sweet. Maybe you'll have to say Adventure Time. Oh, nope, there it is.
Whoa. Look at the drip today. The drip nuts.
Damn, dude, that drip nuts, dude. Oh, that one's sick with the,
That's
like,
pretty
gross
cool.
teeth.
The crown, the crown and stuff.
Damn, dude.
I think that we're getting a lot of, like, Dungeons and Dragons art too. Like
Yeah.
that
Lich
interpretation
King.
of the Lich. Yeah.
When I was a kid, I remember hearing a theory about the Lich that he worked alongside Simon Petroglyph in the war and ended up being corrupted by the nuclear fallout. But I like a lot more that he's just always existed. Like, there's no humanity within him.
Yeah, he just corrupts any soul that he
Yeah,
embodies.
he has the purpose of making things suffer.
Yeah.
Making your way in the world today. Oh, okay. So, man, we derail very quickly. But I asked you what you thought of the ending to Cheers,
That's right.
because I personally felt like it was out of. I liked it. I really liked it, and I would not change it because I couldn't. I can't think of how it would be better. But I personally felt like it was too perfect.
Yeah.
Like, it ended very like, wow, this is so happy, and Adventure Time usually doesn't do that. So I felt like if they get a season 2, it's all going to be like, man, we thought things were good, but this is actually really bad. So I think like either Shigarub saying that like you have no idea what comes with being canon.
Yeah.
I think that things are going to go bad very quickly. And I will say Jay pulling up with Little Destiny in Fiona World, I was like, damn, it's kind of messed up. Because either Farmworld Finn got killed, and then he's like, man, I'm the oldest. You guys are all orphans now. I'm going to head out, going into a new reality. Like, that's kind of messed up. Or Farmworld Finn is alive. But I feel like when we saw Scarab, maybe we would have gotten a hint of that.
Yeah.
That he was alive.
I don't know. That is... I never even thought about that. That's kind of unusual how he's just like, alright, fam.
Bye, everyone.
Later, fam.
Bye, human Nepter. Bye, Bonnie.
Human Shelby. I don't know. Yeah, that is interesting. I hope that his family's doing alright.
Yeah, they're just like...
He's gonna keep his mom's soup going.
The oldest
soup.
members of our family are gone. Unless Farmworld Finn is alive, which I really hope he is, but I would not count on that.
Because, like, the rest of them were, like, children.
Yeah. In Vamp, Baby Finn is in Fiona World now, which is weird because we have Finn and Fern interact in the main line, but other than that, this is the first time 2 comets from different universes live in the same world. Because we've talked about it before, but I don't know if Fern is technically a comet. Like, he is technically Finn, but since he's corrupted by the curse, I don't know if he's technically still the same.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely does not have a lot of hero instincts that Finn has.
Yeah.
And that's, like, the start of his, like, descent.
Yeah.
That could be more than just, like, the grass demon. Maybe he isn't the blue comet.
Yeah, and that's... Yeah. But do you think the implication of having 2 comets in one world, in Fiona World, is that now there's going to be twice as many threats? You know, like, there'll be 2 liches that pull up to counteract, like, the balance of that universe. Like, if you have 2 hero comets, you get 2 green comets.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah. And I don't think Baby Finn is... Like, I don't know if he'll grow up. Maybe he will, since he's out of his universe now. But if he just stays a baby, then it's going to be Fiona taking on...
Fiona and Cake City is going to be like Gotham.
Yeah.
Why would anyone ever live there?
Like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. Yeah. Overall, good though. I really liked it. I hope they do either more spin-offs or season 2. I want more. Give me more, please, please, please.
Give me more, give me more, give me more. I think what else was I gonna say? I saw something about the statue of Golbetti.
Yeah. In the fountain.
Yeah, in the fountain. I think that I think that's very interesting because that statue, like, why would that be there? You know,
Originally it was a statue of Betty, and it changed to Golbetti. So I think since it exists in Simon's mind, it's a metaphor for how he sees her. Like, originally he sees her as Betty, and now that they had that conversation, he's like, okay, she's Golbetti now.
So that statue is like, what if it's like commemorating the loss of something? Meaning like the loss of Golbetti?
Yeah, and
like
he's
it's
like,
just gold now?
I now fully see her for what she told me she is.
Oh, yeah. It could be that, or she's not Golbetti.
Guys, the comet.
Or she's not that anymore?
The comet approaches.
I'd never even, like, it's kind of funny because, like, I wasn't thinking about the text on the bust either. I was just like,
Yeah, it was like that's just something that happened.
Like, to me, I just saw it as a metaphor of like she has to go somewhere where Simon can't really like comprehend. Like,
Yeah.
she has things to do that
Yeah, impossible for.
she's got stuff to do like tomorrow.
Yeah,
But I don't know. Maybe now that Simon has had this like life altering sort of idea of like that he still had something to learn about their relationship, and that he just had to come to terms with like he was human and he made mistakes in that, and like it wasn't either of their faults, but it was just like it's just the way it is,
mm-hmm.
and they're losing each other. But then if she came back, I feel like it would almost kind of diminish like that,
Yeah,
his life has meaning now.
Yeah, I agree.
Like,
I unfortunately think that they can't be together, which is really sad.
Yeah,
yeah, but
like Fiona and Cake are living it up right now.
Yeah,
they're
like,
having the time of their lives. Fiona finally feels like a hero. I want to see Fiona and Finn meet. That would be
dude,
cool.
that would be crazy.
Kind of like an actual version of like the fan fiction lady.
Is that why she's going to lose her arm? Because before she was like not connected, and that's why she still has both of her arms. But now that she's a part of the canon, that event has to happen.
If she's a comet,
Yeah,
or if she's Finn,
Yeah.
which
it has to happen.
has to be.
It has to happen.
Let's just see what Prismo wrote in the fan fiction.
He's like, hey Fiona, really glad you're having a good time. Say goodbye to your arm.
like James Franco in that like hole or whatever. Is it him in that movie? Who is that? Like that dude is like hiking and then like in the Grand Canyon and like that boulder gets stuck on his arm.
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know.
he's like,
let us know in the comments if you watched this far.
that's like one of those like movies where you're like, I feel like a lot of people haven't seen this, but the whole movie is just him like stuck in the hole because he's like hiking and stuff, and then like this boulder falls on his arm, and then he's like, yeah! And then eventually like
Fiona.
to escape he has to cut off his own arm.
Oof.
And I think that like actually happened to some dude.
Oof.
So then he just like the end of the movie is like he's like walking towards this family that's hiking, and he has like a tourniquet that was made out of like a shirt on his arm, and he's like, guys, and the family's like, what?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, but it sounds intense.
Anyway, Fiona might lose her arm.
Yeah,
unfortunate.
Maybe exactly like that. We don't know for sure. I think that I've just been thinking about this, and I want to say it. I think that younger Finn would love the person he ended up being. Like, I think like if he saw his future self, he would like look up to himself. Like he'd be like, "Whoa, I'm so cool."
He's fought so many battles.
It's like when they're fighting the barn. And he's like, I want robotic legs. And then Jake's like, you don't want them. It's not Natchy. I think that he would see his robot arm and be like, what? That's so cool.
He's like, yeah, they're not that cool anyway.
So, guys.
Thing.
Yeah. Guys, we're never doing another podcast again until Adventure Time comes back. I'm just kidding.
Until we get a Shermie and Beth spin-off.
Dude, yeah.
No, I mean, honestly, like whatever they want to work on,
yeah, I would love to watch it.
I am gonna watch. Like I don't want to like pressure them to make anything in particular.
But I do need it by next year. I'm just kidding.
We are gonna need it by this time, unfortunately. But I'm really really happy with just Fiona and Cake overall. I loved just the sort of. I loved the sense of humor in it. It was a little bit more dark and a little bit more like gruesome than normal Adventure Time. It was more like
it was less like implied. Like the darkness was less implied and more shown.
Yeah. I like how Finn still doesn't cuss because it's almost like his mom and dad like instilled that in him. He's like, mom raised me graceful. Like
I'm graceful.
I like that. Like other people doing that almost kind of shows that too, where he's like still just kind of like pure in that way.
The same, yeah.
But overall, I really like just sort of the relationship that Fiona and Cake have. I think it's very like heartwarming, because it's like she really cared for Cake, and Cake saw that, but she just didn't have a way to like express it before now, or like at least not in the same way. And it's really neat. It's heartwarming. I liked all of the references, like the squirrel and the voice
Yeah.
box thing. Like when they were tuning it, like you got the old man voice too, and it's really neat. I liked it overall.
It felt definitely connected and not a spin-off, which is ideal.
Yeah.
I think, guys, our podcast, we're kind of mimicking Fionna and Cake here, because we have done this podcast following Fionna and Cake, and so the next one we do, it's gonna be like Fionna and Cake, where they're like now in a world where it's just open, and that's what it's gonna be like. So,
Yeah.
interested to see how that goes.
A normal podcast.
Yeah, you guys are gonna probably realize
your wish is granted.
Yeah, we're gonna be a lot more insane and unhinged.
Yeah, I think
less organized for sure.
we're just gonna talk about random stuff. I think that we could probably do one about Gotham Knights.
Dude,
That could be cool.
I don't want to overpromise, but
we'll do something.
be ready for it's going to be wild.
It's gonna be epic.
Because I think sometimes, like in these like last 3 episodes, we've captured a little bit of our energy, but like we're definitely like a lot more chill because we have something to talk about. So, I think this is more of a warning than anything.
Do not expect your average podcast.
This is not your average podcast.
If you like average podcasts,
Get
you're
outta
not gonna
here.
like this one, pal.
What are you doing here?
All right, you guys, listen to this bottle flip. Hold on.
He's drinking it to get out the water lower. Whoa! He just flipped it and it landed for real. Dude, I was trying to...
I'm gonna flip this.
They would have believed you.
Well, I just did a successful one for sure.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
did not just drop the bottle. But what I'm also gonna do is I'm gonna flip it, and you guys in the comments let us know
have to
if
do-
you think
yeah.
it landed or if it didn't land. What was it?
Let us know.
Let us know in the comments.
Calculate the velocity based on the wind moving past the camera and the amount of times that the water
Bottle was
sloshed.
2 inches from the mic. How many decibels did it excruciatingly exhibit by its abrupt and volumetric landing?
Please calculate with your brain.
All you business majors,
This is right up your alley.
calculate the average cost of a plastic water bottle.
Wait, can I do something I've always wanted to do?
Sure.
Okay. Alexa, fart. No, not you.
Alexa, fart burp combo.
No, stop.
That was a bathroom.
No, it's supposed to be theirs. It's
supposed to be there, Alexa.
No, this is not how this was supposed to go.
Alexa, fart.
Alexa, stop.
Alexa, volume up by 5. Alexa, fart.
Alexa, stop. You can't keep getting away with this.
Speaking of Animal Crossing, ask your Alexa what her favorite video game is, and you'll get a little treat.
I wonder if it's Animal Crossing.
It's not.
Oh. Wow, that's pretty fresh.
But yeah, maybe we could do
Next episode, face tattoos.
outro.
Next episode, we're getting face tattoos. Comment down below what you think we should get face tattoos of.
Not anything weird though. I was wondering, should we do like a little like, I don't know. Should we just talk about like?
All right, guys. See you in the next one.
You know, sometimes you start sentences and you're like, yeah, I don't know how to finish this one.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.